Hello and welcome to another episode of the Contractor Grow Show. My name is Mark, and today I'm speaking with Joseph Vigier at Vizion Crane in Houston, Texas. Joseph, thanks so much for being with us today.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Yeah, it looks like you guys have an amazing company. Maybe you could just kind of tell our listeners what services you offer in the marketplace.
We offer crane rental. Vizion Crane offer crane rental services throughout the Houston and surrounding areas, from from rough terrain cranes to all terrain cranes that go do your everyday lifts at different sites, and bear rentals meaning cranes without the operators. So we do the whole turnkey solution when it comes down to crane and rigging.
Got it. Yeah, you guys have some beautiful equipment, some serious equipment. You guys are helping with, massive projects, construction, oil and gas, government infrastructure. So you guys do bearer rentals, but you also offer operators for all the different cranes that you rent as well. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, fantastic, great. And so you guys have been at this since around 2010. So that it's really kind of started to pick up here and work since 2020. What were the first kind of 10 years like, and how's it changed in the last 5 or 6 years?
Well, the first 10 years I was still an operator, crane operator, union crane operator, where most of my work was, well, I would say self-contract, where I did contracts throughout the United States, California, Minnesota, Michigan. But based here in Houston, I always traveled out to do different projects as a crane operator. But the vision started in 2010, and by coming from the seat of the crane and not really understanding the business aspects, I had to go out and really learn what that was in order for me to really jump out into the industry. The industry is very tight niche. You can't find details about what a crane company really do if you don't know the crane industry. So I had to learn by sight, by going into different companies and understanding their structure and seeing how to make my approach into the industry. And in 2020, I got my first opportunity to do a city contract here in Houston, and that pushed me into the industry. And from that point, I got into it, and I'll say it took a good turn where I had to learn on how to really bid cranes and schedule them out, and at that time it gave me the opportunity to really see the aspects of what I didn't learn on the crane operation side. Well, operating the crane, where I think the first few years I just broke the cranes out to understand more on how the industry was moving forward and the day to day. And then in 2022, I took my first opportunity to purchase my first crane. And 2022 was, I would say, the catalyst of learning the grassroots aspects of what a crane business is. By owning it, and you have to move it every day in order for you to make money to keep that crane paying for us. So I took that risk, and with me jumping into it, I learned that, yeah, the first crane wasn't the right crane. And in this industry, the cranes are not cheap. Not cheap
I
is
believe that.
yeah. So I had to regroup and get rid of that crane and get a smaller one where it'll be more, I'll say, it would maneuver through the city a little bit better. And I made that move, and to this day now, we have 7 cranes. So we grown a lot in the business and in the industry. and the markets that we're serving right now is the oil and gas and the commercial construction industry that really helped us put a foothold or a good foot in the market where we could at least be a competitor in the industry.
Hmm. Amazing. So oil and gas and commercial, I mean, what percentage is doing work with like the city or kind of government type work?
We're still doing a fair share because I think more consistently right now we have a big project. Well, I think we're stepping outside of the day-to-day crane. We have a large project here in the city with, I think it's called Harris Health the health system. We have a large 2-year project that we've been on with one of the bigger GCs that we provide the construction elevator on the project with the elevator and the manpower to keep the contract going, where you would take each person to each floors on all the projects. So hopefully we moving into the tower crane. So hopefully this year we'll get our first tower crane project and take it up a notch.
Amazing. Can I ask you? I mean, I've been all over your site and taken a look at what you guys, the machinery that you guys have. Can I ask you what is a crane? What are the cranes that you guys buy cost? I mean,
Oh man,
are these incredibly expensive machines?
incredibly expensive. It's I think right now, if you deal with a small one, any size above maybe an 80-ton, you're in the millions.
Oh,
For
wow.
one piece of equipment. So I would say it's very capital intensive, but at the same time, it if you learn the industry, it will help you pay for itself. And there's a lot of risk involved in it. Just the insurance alone. Insurance is a big factor in it. So it's a lot. So I think, yeah, a good size crane. If you're dealing with anything larger than 100-ton or 200-ton, yeah, you're right at 2 million
Wow.
for a piece of
Amazing.
equipment.
Amazing, Joseph. How many people do you have on your team right now?
Right now we up to 17.
Okay. Wow. And then when you're, I mean, are there differences between, I'm sure there are, but between sort of the government level work and some of the more private work? I mean, do you find that, we've talked to folks here on the show that are doing, huge infrastructure projects, and it just seems like in many cases it's a long-term kind of bidding process, and they may be doing commercial with like the city or a municipality, or also, just kind of large commercial work with more private companies. I'm always kind of curious how they sort of choose which direction to go. It seems like, working with municipalities, there can just be, just a hardcore kind of bidding process. And inevitably, it seems like as well with commercial, but do you find that like oil and gas and the commercial work that you guys do, is that more kind of relationship based? And is it somewhat easier to bid on those than, entering like totally public bidding for these kind of municipality projects?
The bidding process, well, in the crane industry is a yeah, you have that aspect as well, like the bidding process, but at the same time, you're bidding for the long-term project where just, for example, we got a contract with the Toll Road Commission here in the city. And with that project, it's a 4-year contract where you just on call whenever they need you. So it's not a everyday job that you do, but it's a contract that you have to commit to and 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 perform. But in the crane industry, it's more like the day to day. Some people call you every day looking for a crane, and in the world of crane operation, it's you have other crane companies that if they don't have a crane, that they call on you to see if you have your crane available, If you do, hey, you go work for another crane company, but to just keep the customer satisfied. So sometimes it's you bid on the job, and some days it's just you just get a phone call and hey, you got to bring the crane to work that day. So it's the
Gotcha.
various ways of I'll say surviving in the market.
I believe it, man. Notice that Vizion Crane's a certified minority business enterprise, recognized as a minority-owned crane firm. Have you know? Has that been a part of the business at all? I mean, do you find that when you're working with folks? I mean, do you have kind of a community of folks that you work with? It's kind of the more minority community. Have there been any kind of extra recognition or awards around that? I'm always curious about that piece of it.
Well, that piece alone, that's the only reason I got started.
Is that
That's the
right?
only reason that's the only reason I got into the business where a contractor needed my service, and it had to do with cranes, and the percentage of it was where the city had a stipulation where they had to have so much minority participation on their project, and they seeked me out, and from doing that, it gave me I would say the upper arm where look, I wasn't in business, but now I had to put my ducks in a row in order for me to get this contract. And that's when I did that, it pushed me in, and I saw it was a benefit. I saw it at least gave me a start that I would never get if I was just a crane operator trying to figure out how to get into the business. But with having a contract in place, I think it's over a 4-year contract that it kept revenue coming in on a constant basis to keep me growing and branching off in different areas. But I think right now they're trying to take it away, but to get into that part of the business with not having a helping hand is to not even have the resources to even own a piece of equipment like this. It would never be a chance in God's speed to even see that opportunity. If it wasn't for that minority aspect of giving another person the opportunity to get into the business.
Man, I love that. What a great story. That is so awesome, Joseph. Man, I'm intrigued. You guys have got 7 machines. I mean, guys, take a look at the website. We'll give you the website here at the end, but I mean, it's just a beautiful website, and I mean, I'm just fascinated by these huge machines and everything that must go into that, banking relationships. I mean, however all that looks, I mean, it just really tells me that you've run a great business, that people love what you guys are doing. What percentage of the business that you do is referral? I imagine it's quite a lot of it versus folks finding you. I mean, do you guys do any type of outreach or marketing of any kind other than having a nice website?
Not yet, not yet. I'm just hiring a marketing person on, right? I think Monday to even help with marketing. That's one thing that we never done. I never had the time and the bandwidth. I tried it to do marketing, but marketing is not my forte in the marketing world. But
Hmm.
what I learned that I had to put my face out there. I had to put my name out there. I touched a lot of hands and opened up a lot of doors for myself by just being persistent. I would say joining different organizations. I have several in mind that it helped me get a lot of exposure. Like Houston Contractors Association is a city organization that deals with all the contracts from bridge on down, and being part of the small business aspect of that, it really helped me. Is Economic Alliance is that's how I'm getting really into the oil and gas industry. It's SCNRA. That's the Specialty Crane and Rigging Association, but that's a national brand that I'll say a lot of people will never know that they got somebody out of Houston that started a small business that it goes nationwide now to just get recognized through, I'll say, bigger organizations. But by reaching out and joining organizations, it helps spread the word about the business, and opportunities come from all different walks of life. So, well, all industries. And that's the beautiful part about it.
Fantastic. Joe, what a great story, man. And thank you so much. Some of the highlights here are, started in 2010, took a few years to really kind of sort things out and kind of really learn the industry is difficult to learn, and, just stay persistent with it. And things started to really work out here, in the last 5, 6 years. Um, and to reach out and join associations. So, Houston Contractor Association, Economic Alliance, National Association, another national association that it's a great place to just kind of network and to get out there. And it's, a great way to just sort of get your name out there to join these organizations. I mean, that takes time, there's costs involved. So, what a great way to grow the business. Fantastic. Well, and guys, I want to tell you, seriously, if you are a contractor that's got an outdated website and want to take a look at what a great website looks like, that really kind of just shows the whole offering, definitely take a look at Vizion Crane, which is Vizion Crane, Crane.com. Joe, is that the best way to get in touch with you? If folks are looking for a crane operator, crane rental, or there's some other ways?
Yeah, the website and my phone number. That's it. My phone number is 832-260-8337. Sometimes it doesn't stop ringing, but it's part of the business. Part of
Yeah,
the
Joe.
business.
So got so many calls coming in, so busy that he actually carved out some special time to meet with me here today. I really appreciate that. I'm teaching our listeners a lot. So give Joe a call at 832-260-8337 or visit them at Vizion Crane, Vizion Crane.com. Fantastic, Joe. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, man, and your story. And yeah, wishing you the very best here in 2026 and beyond.
All right, thank you. Much smart.
All right.